Well, in the news today, Juan Turner, MLC, got various different hats, of course, but this is the one we're probably using today because you're still a member of government, yet you've had, I think Manx Radio called it a rant about government, and you've made some pretty big points here. I mean, first of all, I mean, you stand by what you. This is a Facebook thing. You went in the public. It was meant to be public, was it? I mean, it's not like you talked to a few friends about it.
Yeah, yes, it was public, Paul. Nothing I've said in the article I've written are things that I haven't said in Tynwald. So really, it's a bit surprising it's suddenly come to the fore now.
But why did you want to write about it last night then?
Well, because it's become topical, because they're publishing in the Courier this week that they're trying to encourage people to come to the island, and they're wanting the Manx public to sell the place. And the points I'm making is that, first of all, the Manx public have been severely hammered with charges and various other government policies that have affected not just the cost of living here, but also the attractiveness of the Isle of Man as a place to live and indeed set up business.
You're suggesting go to the northwest of England, aren't you, for better deals or something else?
Well, no, what I'm saying is that for the average family of four, then and I know this from people who have moved, they are financially better off in the northwest of England. So the point I'm making is they have to address these policies if they're going to attract people to come and live and work here.
But you're inside government. You're inside this tent. You have been now for some time.
Yes,
surely.
10 years.
That's probably one of the surprises, that 10 years and you haven't been able to get this sort of point of view across enough. So you have to write an article about it.
It's a very valid point. Of course, over the 10 years, we've only recently seen the gathering pace of social media. So all the points I've raised in there, I've been raising numerous times in Tynwald Court, in various debates. As I said, there's nothing in there that I haven't raised in the Tynwald Court. It's just not been picked up by the media. But of course, we've got this thing now where we've got quite a lot of lazy journalists that just rely on Facebook and Twitter for their leads. They won't sit through a whole debate and listen to what people have to say. Yes, it's a fair point. I've been in there, as I said, 10 years, and on some of the things I've campaigned for, we've had successes. But as you know, I'm one voice of 32, and I'm also in the chamber which is there as a scrutiny chamber, whereas we have the elected House of Keys. You know, I'm also a constituent, remember. So I'm speaking not only as a member of the outfit which you describe, but I'm also speaking as a Manxman, a father, a homeowner, a business owner and a constituent. You know, I tick a lot of boxes, and these are all issues that everyday people are facing in the Isle of Man, and the charges have led a lot of people to review, and I mean the list is endless.
What can you do about it? I mean, you're going to stand as an MHK next time round. I mean, you're taking a salary out of government, and you know, therefore, people assume you are on the inside trying to tackle these sort of problems.
Well,
do you want to be an MHK?
Well, I am on the inside trying to tackle these problems, but I've also been doing this now for over 10 years, and there comes a point when you have to say, are we making a difference here? And I really believe the size of the administration, as it stands, is beyond scaling back. It's incredibly huge for a population of 80,000 people.
You're speaking personally here about you don't say what exactly, but you've come across intransigence, would we say?
Yes. Well, we've got evidence of that when even the former Chief Minister Alan Bell has stood up and said many a time on the record that people used to think he could wave a magic wand because he's the Chief Minister. The Chief Minister doesn't have those powers because all the powers are devolved down to the various ministers in departments. So unlike the UK, where when you have an election, you know you pretty much know what the policy is going to be for the next 5 years. When we elect the Isle of Man government and our MHKs, we haven't a clue what it's going to be. And once the Chief Minister is appointed, we then have different departments going off and doing their own thing. And of course, just to add to that, the only sanction the Chief Minister has really is to sack the Minister, which is a pretty nuclear option every time something happens he doesn't like.
Okay, you think there's too many civil servants, you made that clear for a long time, but is it also what they're getting paid? Have we got, where is your problem? Just too many, or what they're getting?
Well, it's the old phrase, isn't it, chiefs and Indians. What we've seen a lot of cutting of the lower level workers who are delivering the services. And what we've seen is an increase in all these layers of management. I mean, some of these people are paid more than Theresa May.
But how, do we know that? I mean, we just see bandings, don't we?
Well, we do see bandings, but we also have a list of the roles, this was delivered to me by somebody. It was put through my letterbox.
Sorry, what's that?
This is a list of all the top corporate leadership jobs in government.
Isle of Man government?
Isle of Man government, including the positions. And the person who sent it me has put in the current post holders, and we have salaries here of £155,000. We have there's 5 people on nearly £130,000.
That is more than Theresa May, then.
We've got Theresa May is on a basic of 74,000 as an MP.
Yeah.
She's on 150,000. So and this only includes corporate leadership roles. So there's all these jobs in government which are very, very highly paid. I mean, some of the lower highly paid officers of directors of different divisions of, say, infrastructure are on £80,000 a year. And a lot of these
pensions,
plus all the things that go along with it.
Wow.
So what you have is packages that are really, really huge.
Can't verify this, so you just said have this through the letterbox. I mean, you presume it's right, but you don't actually have it confirmed, should we say? Well,
it has come through. The only thing I'm unsure about on here are whether some of the names that they've written on are the current post holders. But I have no reason to believe that these aren't. This is an internal document that's been forwarded to me. But it's just an example on how government has grown out of control. And this is the nub of what I'm saying, that we've ended up in a situation where we're living beyond our means because the size of the administration needs paying for.
You're not serious, though, to become part of Westminster, are you? I mean, one member of Parliament in there representing us.
Well, look, no.
You're a Manxman.
No, I am a Manxman. But what you have to look at is you have to go back further than that, and you have to look at how we're constituted. The Isle of Man, whether we like it or not, we're British nationals, we're a possession of the British Crown, and the UK are ultimately responsible for us. Other territories receive levels of support from the UK. We don't. Look at the debacle we had over the health agreement. Look at the debacle we're having now over getting bank accounts and all these other things. We've also got a situation where the pensions, we've got disparity with pensions. We've got differences with police force, fire brigade, and nursing, and all the rest of it. So we've got this UK-owned entity, which the Isle of Man is, but we have no representation in Westminster. It has been discussed on a number of occasions, actually, about whether the Crown dependencies will get some proper representation, and it's never really gone that far. The point I'm making, Paul, is that we are doing so many functions here in the Isle of Man that don't directly affect our day-to-day living. Those functions surely should be dealt with by UK government departments. Why are we reinventing the wheel over things like coastal erosion? The Environment Agency do all that. And there's funding available for rural communities around the rest of the UK. Right. Funding comes in. So where we've got the likes of erosion of the coast threatening our towns and villages, we can't tap into central funding for that because we're completely on our own.
So you still see the House of Keys and MLCs and then a UK representative and that sort of thing? More bureaucracy?
No. What I'm saying is that I think when you're at a stage where the money's running out, and it clearly is, you have to look at the size of what you've established. Most of what the Isle of Man government do, the functions, are the same as a county council authority, aren't they? All the day-to-day things we rely on.
So what would you do?
I think they have to take a long, hard look at affordability of the size of the administration.
Would you have MLCs in the Turner world?
You'd have to revamp, which is what they're doing. You'd have to revamp the whole thing, wouldn't you?
Do you want to be an MHK? I mean, I know I've asked you, but you haven't answered me. But you seem very political, and I know MLCs have always frustrated themselves. They don't have that much. You're revision sort of things.
Yeah.
Do you fancy? I mean, I suppose that goes to the question: do you want to carry on as an MLC? You're up in February, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, you come to the end of the term. I've come to the end of the term, and I've completed 2 and a bit terms by then.
Do you want to do it again?
So, I think That's something I'll have to think about, but of course it's not within my gift.
You've got to be nominated, haven't you?
You have to be nominated. You don't stand. I mean, people say, "Oh, you're going to stand." Well, you can't stand. You have to be nominated. But of course, I think there should be a natural turnover of people.
It looks like you kind of. I think the radio alluded to the fact it sounded like a resignation letter in a way.
Yeah, they're fishing, aren't they?
They were, but yeah. I'm probably doing exactly the same.
Yes.
You know, you sound like you're done. That's all. And certainly in MLC, but I'm not sure you're done fighting the good fight.
Oh, there's plenty more to come.
Do you think you can do more outside this tent?
Well, I think you can. I think you're quite constrained when you're on the inside. I mean, I know it causes a lot of problems in all sorts of things because you get labelled with the MLC tag even when it's nothing to do with that.
You went in with high hopes always. I mean, you were running the radio station, Energy FM. You set up this whole thing, and then you had to sort of sideline this while you've been doing this. I'm guessing you can't, because it's two different things to be doing. Do you want to get back into broadcasting? There's so many things happening.
I like broadcasting, and
you had to go to Manx Radio here today as well about their party. I think
that was only because they woke up and they tried to contact me this morning.
What did you say about 13? Whatever their party would cost or something? Was that serious?
It's just a bit of fun.
Okay.
Isn't it? I mean, they're in the news today, aren't they, for their champagne reception that cost, I think, £13,000 was it?
Was that freedom of information request? Wasn't
yes,
it?
Yeah.
I was there. It was quite nice to do it.
But
you were there?
like you, Paul. No, I didn't go.
You didn't go.
But like you, Paul, broadcasting is something I'm involved in, and I'm still doing quite a bit of television. So I'm enjoying that.
So what do you think? Manx Television's on its way, it appears to be. Manx Radio putting in some cameras. Everyone keeps saying, I haven't got that verified, but do you think this is the right thing everyone should be doing? Everyone moving into the vision world? Well, are you doing it yourself?
I'm not doing it myself, no. Whether government-funded entities should be doing it when there's the likes of your service, there's other people doing it, I don't know. I mean, that's up for them to make a business decision, but it's up for their shareholders, I suppose, to decide whether they're going to pump more money into it.
Okay. Interesting talking to you. February's the time, so when do you have to make your mind up on that one? Do you have a date that you have to...
No.
So you leave right to
you don't. You're
gonna hold...
You go out of office no matter what.
Yeah.
And then it's in the hands of the MHKs. Of course, they're looking at reforming Legco anyway, so things might have all changed by then. But I mean, getting back to the main message of why you've invited me in, there's a whole list of why I feel they need to address these issues, because they are important. We've had the toilet tax. We've got the rates review, which is going to cripple people because they're going to try and charge rates on the value of people's homes. Rates are about services, not how much your bricks and mortar cost. We've had the pension age issue. We've got the removal of bus passes. We've got the debate going on about prescription charges right now. These are all things that are making the Isle of Man an unattractive place to come to. So what I'm saying is they may well try and shoot me, the messenger, because they don't like the message, when the reality is these problems have been created by a series of governments who have had bad policies and have been basically living beyond their means, and things have got to change because they are not going to attract businesses or people to come and live here unless they address those very important topics.